Have you ever stared at one of those official lists of shop rules and just kind of glazed over? It seems like a big wall of do's and don'ts. But what if I told you that hidden in that formal language is the actual blueprint for how a workplace really operates? It tells you what truly matters. So let's decode one together.
So let's just get right to the big question. What's the real difference between doing something that gets you a stern warning versus something that gets you walked out the door that same day? Is leaving your workstation for a minute the same as getting in a fight? Of course not. And the key to understanding why is baked right into the structure of these rules.
At the end of the day, shop rules aren't just there to be annoying. They're really the framework for keeping everyone safe, keeping things running smoothly, and making sure people treat each other with respect. You can think of them as the operating system for a functional workplace. It's the foundation of everything.
And here's the secret. When you boil it all down, every single rule, no matter how specific it sounds, falls into one of just two main categories. That's it, just two. And understanding this simple split is the key to making sense of the entire system.
And this is the whole ball game right here. On one side, you have Category 1. These are the major offenses, the red lines. You cross one of these, and the consequence could be immediate termination. On the other side, you have Category 2. Think of these as yellow flags. These are things that get handled through a step-by-step disciplinary process. One is a total deal breaker, the other is a chance to learn and correct your behavior.
So here's how we're going to break this down. We're going to start with those big Category 1 deal breakers. Then we'll look at the more common Category 2 offenses. After that, and this is the fun part, we'll compare them side by side to see where the details really matter. And finally, we'll talk about the spirit behind all these rules.
All right, let's dive into the heavy hitters. Category 1. These are the major offenses, the absolute non-negotiables. These are the actions that can have immediate, serious consequences. They are, quite literally, the deal breakers.
You can see a pretty clear theme with this first group, right? It's all about protecting people. Things like fighting, bringing a weapon to work, being under the influence. These actions don't just break a rule, they completely shatter the sense of safety that everyone deserves to have at their job.
Okay, so this next group of major offenses shifts the focus a little bit. It's less about immediate physical safety and more about protecting the health and integrity of the business itself. We're talking about things like theft, sabotage, or leaking confidential info. These are direct attacks on the company. And even something like using someone else's badge, that undermines the basic trust and security the whole operation relies on.
And here's a perfect, crystal clear example of a red line that pretty much every workplace has. A 3-day no-call/no-show. See, this isn't just about being absent. It's considered abandoning your job. It's a classic, straightforward deal breaker.
Okay, let's totally shift gears and talk about Category 2, the minor offenses. You'll notice the whole vibe here is different. The goal isn't immediate dismissal. It's all about correction. These are the rules that are designed to flag an issue and fix it through a process. This first set of minor offenses is really all about focus and quality. Wasting time, knocking off early to wash up, sloppy work, these things might not seem like a huge deal in the moment, but they add up and affect productivity. They aren't instant deal breakers, but if they keep happening, they show a pattern that needs to be corrected.
In this second group of minor rules, it's pretty much about being a good coworker and respecting the shared space. No horseplay, not being excessively loud, cleaning up after yourself. It's all about basic courtesy for the people you work with and the place you work in.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting, because some rules in Category 1 and Category 2 look almost identical, but the difference can come down to a single word, and that one word changes absolutely everything.
So let's look at our first comparison. In one category, we have disregard for safety. In the other, we have gross disregard. They both sound like you're not following the safety rules. So, what makes one a correctable mistake and the other a fireable offense? It all comes down to that one word, gross. A simple disregard might be forgetting to put on your safety glasses once. It's careless, it's a mistake. But gross disregard? That implies something way more serious. It's a willful, blatant violation, like if you purposely disabled a safety guard on a machine because it was slowing you down. It's the intent and the extreme danger that bumps it up to a major offense.
All right, let's try another one. Both categories have a rule about following a supervisor's instructions. So where's that line in the sand? When does just not following instructions cross over into something much more serious, like insubordination? Once again, it's about one crucial word: refusal. A failure to follow instructions,
That could be a mistake. Maybe you misunderstood, maybe you forgot. That's a performance issue that can be corrected. But a refusal? That's a conscious choice. That's you looking at your supervisor and directly challenging their authority. And that is insubordination. That's why it's a major offense.
So after digging into all these specifics, what's the big picture takeaway? Well, beyond the lists and the categories, there's a whole philosophy here. It's about the spirit of the rules, not just the letter of the law.
And this final point from the rulebook really says it all. The main goal here isn't just to punish people. The intent is to correct behavior. It means the penalty should fit the violation. It reinforces the whole idea that the system is designed to be fair and hopefully to help people improve, not just to kick them out.
Which brings us to a final, really important idea. A list of shop rules is so much more than just a list of regulations. It's actually a window into a company's soul. What an organization decides is a major offense versus a minor one tells you exactly what it values most, whether that's safety, efficiency, or absolute respect for authority. So the next time you see a list of rules, ask yourself, what story is this really telling me?